Hello everyone, hi. So today I'm coming at you with 7 short little books that can be read in a day and that, even though they're very short, I think really pack a punch. They're either very funny or extremely provoking in a way, and they have made it onto this list because they have left an impression on me. So yes, I'm looking forward to getting into those. If you're new here, hello, my name is Maria. I study comparative literature and that is my passion. And if you enjoy this video, I hope that you will subscribe. And now let's get into the main part of this video. So the first one I have here is Annie Ernaux's L'autre fille. I think it's called The Other Girl in the English translation. This is the French, and Annie Ernaux won the Nobel Prize for Literature, I think 2 years ago, and she's talking about her first-hand experience of having a sister that has died before she even lived. So she basically her parents had a child before she was born, and that girl has died. And she describes what it was like to grow up in the shadow of that older sister that she never knew, and how strange it was to see her pictures, and how she felt like she never really could live up to her parents' expectations, and how that comparison was always there, and how that sadness was always there. And Annie Ernaux is really good at sort of describing the interiority and the very straightforward thoughts that a child has in a situation like this. So if you know someone who has maybe been in the same situation, I think this would be a wonderful book for them. But also, if you're learning French by any chance, this would also be a wonderful book because it's very short. It's very easy to understand, I would say. And I actually have the audio CD in my car, and it's read by Annie Ernaux herself. And I really enjoy listening to her voice, and yeah, it's just a wonderful way to stay on top of my French. So that is the first recommendation. The second one you might very well know is Chess by Stefan Zweig. I know that this book, and also playing chess for some reason, has gained a lot of popularity again over the past years. So you may have heard about this book. It's basically about a chess player and the story why he became so good at playing chess. And it's I don't know, should I say? Let me just say, he didn't learn to play chess in the best of circumstances, and it really made him go a little bit crazy after some time, and so often that sort of genius and craziness go together. And yeah, I don't know what I want to say. It's so short, I would say just read it. I only have the German version here. There's also a wonderful audiobook in German that is just freely available on YouTube. I don't usually like audiobooks, funny that I mentioned it now twice, but the chess one I really enjoyed because the story in chess is basically a man telling his story to another person about how he became so good at playing chess. So it is ideal. It really feels like someone is recounting their experience to you. Yes, a real classic, really quick read, and I think the essential book about chess, even though the other day I have been in a chess store in Vienna. I got those little horses here for a reason I might talk about at some point. And there you could only buy chessboards and figures there, and there was 2 huge walls full of bookshelves only books about chess. And the man who worked there said, oh, that's not even all of them. Like, there's 3 times as many somewhere in the back. So, you know, this is the only book I've ever read about chess, but I think if you're more interested in that, there's apparently a whole, you know, libraries full of books about chess. So, let's move on to the next one. This is Catherine Cressman Taylor's Address Unknown. And I've talked about this a couple of times in my videos before because I had to read it for uni. And it is an epistolary novel, so it's written in letters back and forth between 2 friends in the beginning of the Nazi regime. So one man moves back to Germany and he keeps writing letters with his Jewish friend in America. And things just very quickly become strange between them because the man in Germany is sort of picking up on some ideology. And what is so remarkable about this book is that you really wonder how a friendship can suffer so much under this ideology and how that is even possible to sort of just see, you know, race and not see your friend anymore. But it's somehow written very believably and it goes so quickly, it goes back and forth super fast. There's a huge plot twist at the end. So if you're an impatient reader, I think you'll really enjoy this and you'll not be bored. And you can probably read this in an hour or something. And this was the book that really showed Americans, apparently, back in the day, what Hitler is doing in Germany. Because on the other side of the world, people just weren't as informed about what's going on over here, I guess. So this is really like a punch in the gut. Very, very fast-paced. And yeah, I can just really recommend this book. Okay, the next 3 books, I have them all here in German. And the first one is a play by Friedrich Dürrenmatt called Die Physiker. Okay, I don't know how well this translates, but if you speak German, you have to read this play. It's hilarious. Dürrenmatt is just exquisite at sort of weird, strange, but hilarious characters and plot, and I just laughed all the way through this, but also it makes such a big meta point that really sticks with you. So I unfortunately can't say anything about the translation because I didn't look into that at all yet. But, you know, any Dürrenmatt play is amazing, but this one, it's hilarious, yeah. And then the next 2 are actually both by Patrick Süskind. And Patrick Süskind wrote The Perfume, right? And everyone knows this book. And for a long time, I have only known Patrick Süskind for The Perfume. However, he writes very different novels as well. And you just wouldn't expect it. You wouldn't expect it. You know, The Perfume is such a dark story in a way, like it's not funny at all. These 2 books are hilarious. So there is Der Kontrabaß, so the bass. It's about a man who plays the bass, like the biggest violin there is, in an orchestra, and it's basically a theater play for one person. And it's his weird inner psychological inferiority of playing the most unimportant instrument in the orchestra. Again, there's an audiobook on YouTube that I really enjoyed. I'm gonna link all of them down below. And Die Taube is very similar in sentiment, about a man who finds a dove in front of his doorstep one day and sort of freaks out about that. It completely derails his very structured everyday life. And we follow this man around for, I think it's just one day. It's 24 hours. And yeah, Süskind is just amazing at sort of depicting those, the drama that goes on in a human's mind about honestly nothing, or about things that other people wouldn't even think about twice. And then the last book, which is also just hilarious, is Cheese by Willem Elschot. This is the Dutch version. It's called Kaas, because it is originally in Dutch. Willem Elschot is a Belgian author, and this is a real Dutch classic. So if you want to read a Dutch classic, read this one. It is even about cheese, so that's amazing. It's about a man who quits his job to become, I guess not really self-employed, but yeah, I mean, does he? I don't know what you call that. He still works under someone else, but he has a lot more independence, and he's trying to like run this cheese business. And he's really not that good at it. And he's I don't know, you read what he does and you're like, oh no. And I could so feel with that man, because he cared a lot about, for example, what his office looked like, right? He was like, okay, I'm gonna have this job, I need a great office, so what is the perfect office desk? And I think I need a phone. And he just went looking for that for a week or something, while there was already like 10 tons of cheese waiting somewhere to be sold, and he had no plan for that yet. So if you are starting a business in any way, read this and do the opposite of what that man does, and I think you'll be very successful. I'm thinking about actually doing an entire Dutch review of this book. That could be fun. So yeah, those are my small book recommendations that either pack a punch or are very funny. And I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, leave me a like and a comment if you feel like it. And otherwise, I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.